Members of Barnes Air National Guard Base in Westfield are getting acquainted with the skies along the west coast of the country in case help is needed. 22 News found out exactly why our military crews are in Hawaii.
It's a familiar sound in western Massachusetts, but one you may not hear too much of over the next 2 weeks. That's because about 100 personnel from Barnes Air National Guard Base in Westfield traveled out to Hickam, Hawaii for about 2 weeks of training. The 104th Fighter Wing commander explained to us it's important they become familiar with operations on the West Coast.
The Pacific is kind of one of those regions now where it's a heightened area where we want to start moving forces to because of the kind of the pivoting to the Pacific DoD strategies.
Barnes brought some of their F-15s to work alongside Hawaii's F-22 Raptors. F-22s are a next-generation aircraft. The nation's Department of Defense wanted more of them but couldn't afford it. Now F-15s act alongside what we do have. The F-15 crews here in Westfield are working with the F-22 crews in Hawaii as one, just as they would in a real combat situation. They're working to plan, brief, and debrief together. 22 News spoke with an F-15 pilot who's in Hawaii to find out the kind of exercises they're working on now.
This afternoon they're doing defending a point from an adversary that's trying to possibly drop some simulated bombs on that. You're trying to not allow strikers to get to the target, just it's all simulated.
Colonel James KEEFE says he thinks Barnes will be flying the F-15s for at least another 15 years, and they've been upgraded to make them more comparable to the F-22s. KEEFE says between the upgrades and the training exercises, they'll be ready to respond if necessary.
Obviously, China is kind of a near-peer competitor to us, and they've been kind of flexing their muscles in the Pacific, and that's an area of responsibility for the F-15.
Chris Wallum, we hosted them yesterday.
And we should note that not all F-15s are in Hawaii. There are enough still here ready to go if there is an emergency on the East Coast.